Hey everyone, Professor Baldwin here. Today we have an equation and we're asked to solve and check our answer. And notice that this equation involves some rational expressions. Our first step is going to be to factor the denominator of that last term. So if we make sure everything is factored, our first rational expression is 2 over x minus 1, and then that's plus 1, and it's equal to 4 over, well, x squared minus 1 is the difference of squares, so that factors as x minus 1 times x plus 1. Now that everything's factored, we can identify our LCD. And our least common denominator here is that difference of squares, x minus 1 times x plus 1. So we're going to multiply all three of these terms by x minus 1 times x plus 1. That will give us x minus 1 times x plus 1 times 2 over x minus 1 plus 1 times x minus 1 times x plus 1 equals 4 times x minus 1 times x plus 1 over x minus 1 times x plus 1. Now we want to go through and simplify each of these. The first term has x minus 1 in common, so those simplify out as just 1, and that leaves behind 2 times x plus 1. And that second term, that just stays. And notice that it's x minus 1 times x plus 1, so we can rewrite that as our difference of squares, x squared minus 1. And the very last term, the x minus 1s and the x plus 1 simplify out and leave us with just 4. Now let's continue to distribute and simplify everything. Distribute the 2 to get 2x plus 2 plus x squared minus 1 equals 4. We're going to combine like terms on the left and rewrite it in descending order. So we have x squared first, and then plus a 2x. And the 2 and the negative 1 simplify to a plus 1, and that equals 4. Now let's bring that 4 over. So subtract 4 from both sides. And this gets us x squared plus 2x minus 3 equals 0. We have a polynomial, so we want to factor that polynomial. There's no leading coefficient, so we know that our factored binomials are going to have x's as the first term. And then we're looking for the two numbers that multiply to negative 3 but add to 2. So a positive 3 and a negative 1. Then remember zero product property. We can solve this. X plus 3 equals 0. X minus 1 equals 0. Solve each of those. The first one tells us that a possible answer is x equals negative 3. We say possible because we need to check these at the end. It's very important when you have rational expressions. And the second possible answer is x equals positive 1. So next is to do that check. So let's check x equals negative 3 first. If we plug that in, remember, plug it into your original equation, we get 2 over negative 3 minus 1 plus 1 equals 4 over negative 3 squared minus 1. And we'll start simplifying. Here we have 2 over negative 4 plus 1 equals 4 over 9 minus 1. This is negative 1/2 plus 1 equals 4 over 8. And on the left, we have a positive 1/2 equals, well, 4/8 simplifies to 1/2. So that checks. X equals negative 3 is a possible answer. Now let's check x equals 1. When we substitute in x equals 1, we get 2 over 1 minus 1 plus 1 equals 4 over 1 squared minus 1. Notice what happens in this very first term and also on the far right. These two denominators become 0, and you can't have 0 in the denominator. So x equals 1 gets thrown out. It's what we call an extraneous solution. So the only possible solution is x equals -3.